Good day, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I am going solo today. Ryan Ennis had his shoulder replacement surgery yesterday, so he's still laid up in the hospital, feeling pretty good on some pain meds and all that jazz. So you're stuck with me today. Hope you're feeling well, Ryan, and hope to see you back next week. Before we get started, don't forget to check out our social media pages. You can find them on Facebook.com/American Sports Connection or on Twitter @ASCPods. Or you can find our entire catalog on the B Plus Player Radio. The best way to do that is to check them out on Twitter @B Plus Radio. So there's been a lot of things that have been going on in the last week since we came back to see you, everybody here. Let's see here. Where shall we start? Jeff Hardy was arrested for driving while intoxicated. Apparently, he had blown 3 times the legal limit. It's quite unfortunate for him after it looked like he had potentially beat his demons. Because if I remember correctly, he's only been back with, regardless of his injury, he had only been back. It'll be a year at WrestleMania. Him and Matt made their surprise return to win the Raw Tag Team titles. So it just goes to show you how hard addiction really is, because he hasn't been on the road, to my knowledge, in a good 6 months. And maybe him being stuck at home, not being able to compete, led him back into ways that he probably should not be dealing with. My fear would be, as I saw Reba Hardy had a meltdown on Twitter about it, is that her and Matt have worked so hard to get the Woken character on television and paying all those lawyers' fees from Anthem to legally get this property that they claim is theirs. And now with Jeff falling off the wagon, that he's going to screw everything up for them, where I think if he was, because to my knowledge, I thought he was already medically cleared. And with him doing this, I don't know if they're going to use him anymore, or because I would have thought after he was cleared, which I'm pretty sure he was, that they would throw him into the final deletion storyline with Bray Wyatt, where they're filming at the Hardy compound. So that should be interesting to see where that ends up. The other big take this week was WWE had put out that they were going to have a women's battle royal, kind of like the Andre the Giant battle royal for the men, but they had named it after the Fabulous Moolah. Well, there was a ton of backlash over that. For those that are unaware, apparently back in the 70s and the 80s, the Fabulous Moolah had a very poor track record for the way she treated female wrestling talents, supposedly prostituting them out to men, or would hardly pay them any money, where that she was basically, people were basically almost like indentured servants to her, from what I understand. So, because of this public outcry, I actually think it might have been Snickers from what I understand, because Snickers is one of the big sponsors for WWE. That they came out and said, no, you have to change this after the public outcry, or they were going to pull out as sponsors. So at the behest of the outcry and from the sponsors, from what I understand, the Fabulous Moolah, the name was taken off, and now it will just be known as the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. I want to run down a few things from Raw. Excuse me, my God, my allergies are bad. From Raw and SmackDown this week, and then I wanted to go over some independent wrestling, some news and notes of some stuff that I don't normally cover, and try to switch it up a little bit. With Raw this week, I thought the stuff with Roman Reigns going into the back, where you would see the gorilla position with Vince McMahon back there, and all that behind the scenes stuff was kind of cool and quote unquote groundbreaking, I guess you could say. But I like what they're doing with this Brock and Roman feud to make it feel very shoot-like and very legitimate and personal, and in certain ways it is. I also did not like when they had Braun Strowman win the Tag Team Battle Royal on Raw this week, where it's almost like you're basically shortchanging every other tag team you have on your roster to make Braun Strowman look like a monster that we already know he is. I don't know if this means that he's going to fight the Bar 2-on-1 at WrestleMania for the tag titles, or if he's going to have a partner, or what they're doing. But it should be interesting, to say the least. I'm trying to remember what else that was interesting this past week on Raw, because to be completely honest with you guys, it really didn't keep my interest. 3 hours is just so long to watch a program like that anymore. I will say with SmackDown, I like the stuff with AJ. AJ wrestling Rusev was fun. My God, is there a guy that is not more over right now than Rusev? And it seems like they have no clue what to do with him. I like the Asuka and Charlotte showdown. I think that has a potential to be really, really good. And then the Shane McMahon stuff at the end, where he resigned and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn beat the crap out of him. That was fun. My 10-year-old actually watched it with me and asked me if Shane McMahon was having a heart attack. And I asked him, are you asking if he's having a heart attack? He said, because the way he was wheezing and gasping for air. And I said, no, that means he has a cracked trachea a la Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage days. So that was fun. I don't know if it's going to lead to something with Shane and a partner against Sami and Kevin at WrestleMania. That would be fun. We'll have to wait and see on that. In indie wrestling news, I know I wasn't there personally. This just happened this past weekend, from what I understand. I want to send get well wishes to the Bayonne badass, Mr. Danny Moff himself, who is legit one of the toughest motherfuckers you'll ever meet walking God's green earth. At WrestlePro this past weekend, he broke his nose and his septum, from what I understand. Tried to finish the match. They wouldn't let him because he was a bloody mess. So I just wanted to, before I get into results from CZW's Proving Grounds, I wanted to send him all the best with his health situation. Okay, this past Saturday, I was at CZW Proving Grounds, which was my very first show back on the independents since my abdominal wall reconstruction surgery. Going to go over the results real quick with you guys. On the pre-show, they had an Instagram Live pre-show. The God of War, Frankie Picard, defeated Jackson Stone. It was a fun match. For those that are unaware, Jackson Stone recently had a tryout down at the Performance Center in WWE with two other CZW alums, Maria Manic and Laszlo Arpad. But it was a fun match to start out the crowd. To start off the main show, they had the Trifecta Series match, which was 3 triple threats. Each winner went on later in the night to face each other in another triple threat, and whoever won that, they got to be the next contestant or participant in Best of the Best in April. So, to start the show, we had Wheeler Yuta defeating Gary J. and Mike Verna. Big fan of Wheeler Yuta. He's come a long way in the last year. Seen him a lot at Dojo Wars. From what I understand, he did a summer over in Japan. It really helped him grow as a performer, like his work. Gary J. never had seen him before, but I was impressed from what I saw. Thought he was entertaining. And Mike Verna, Mr. Superman himself, always like his work. One of the stronger guys in pro wrestling. Had a fun spot where he suplexed and DDT'd a guy at the same time. Really strong dude. See a lot of big things coming for him down the pike. Next was another Trifecta Series match with Anthony Bennett from the Cruiserweight Classic defeating Ryo and Kit Osborne. Anthony Bennett, being a heel now, cut off his hair, has a short haircut. Liked what I saw from him. To be honest with you, never was a fan of him as a babyface. Hopefully him with this little bit of an edge will do him better justice. Ryo, like his work, he's more known for wrestling down in Maryland, Championship Wrestling. Liked what I saw from him. And Kit Osborne, same thing. Really grown in the past year. Through the Dojo Wars program, got injured unfortunately with his shoulder a while back, and now he's come back stronger than ever, and he just keeps getting better and better. And then after that, we had the final Trifecta Series match, which was Ace Austin defeating Brandon Watts and KC Navarro. Ace Austin's really come a long way as well. Actually moved out to Ohio and has been training with the Ohio boys, which is the Chris brothers, Dave and Jake, Sammy Callahan, Trey Miguel. And there's someone else in there I'm forgetting. I believe there maybe or maybe not. I'm not 100% sure, but he's been out there training with them, getting a lot better. 6 months ago, they really didn't have anything for him on the main card at CZW and had really no clue what to do with him, but he picks up the win at Proving Grounds to kind of get the ball rolling back in his court. Brandon Watts, not super familiar with him, but from what I saw of him in this match, I was impressed. Hopefully get to see more of him. And KC Navarro, always liked this kid. He's been wrestling since he's been 15. He's been known as Sugar Rush, or there are a couple other different names he's gone by. But he's turned 18 years old now, really starting to grow as a performer. And I don't think I've ever seen the kid have a bad match. So I think there's a lot of excitement for him in the future. All right. Next, we had the rep, who is Dave McCall and Nate Carter, with their manager Maven Bentley defeating the Awakening, who is Stockade and G-Raver, to retain the CZW Tag Team Championship. Fun brawl. This was all over the arena. Stockade at one point hit Nate Carter with a empty water jug to the side of the face. The rep powerbombed G-Raver through a Walmart-style ladder, but Maven Bentley distracts the referee to help the rep pick up the pinfall victory over the Awakening. After that, the Storm of Entrails, who is Schlack and Big Scare Dan O'Hare, come out and use their Coin of Opportunity, which is CZW's version, of Money in the Bank. They challenge the rep right away after beating the Awakening for the CZW World Tag Team Championships. And the rep retain due to the Awakening actually interfering in this match and costing the Storm of Entrails the CZW World Tag Team Championships, which is going to, I assume, eventually lead to a triple threat of those teams for the tag titles down the line. Joey Janela defeats Ace Romero in what could be considered the match of the night. This went everywhere as well. I had to duck and cover. Joey Janela just missed my head by about 2 or 3 inches, throwing chairs everywhere into the crowd, trying to hit Ace Romero with them. They were everywhere, but this was a really fun match that Joey eventually picks up the win with. After that, we had Joe Gacy, who was originally scheduled to wrestle Rich Swann. Rich Swann pulled out. So they had a mystery opponent for Joe Gacy, which turned out to be former CZW World Heavyweight Champion Jonathan Gresham. And you could also argue this was match of the night, which Jonathan Gresham eventually picks up the win over Joe Gacy due to one of his fear, F-E-A-R with the periods, Dan Barry costing him the match by accidentally hitting him instead of Jonathan Gresham, and Jonathan Gresham getting the pinfall victory over Joe Gacy. After that, we had Ricky Shane Page, the CZW World Heavyweight Champion, and Alex Colon defeating Mr. Claxton, Connor Claxton, and Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This had devolved from earlier in the night of a contract signing between Ricky Shane Page and MJF for Best of the Best for Ricky's World Heavyweight Championship. And Ricky and Alex eventually pick up the win due to MJF not wanting anything to do with tagging in and Connor Claxton being left all by himself. So RSP and Alex Colon picked up the victory. And let's see here. We had in the finals of the Trifecta Series match, Wheeler Yuta defeating Anthony Bennett and Ace Austin to win the Trifecta Series, which guarantees him the next spot in the Best of the Best tournament. 3 of the best young talents you will see in independent wrestling today going at it. Wheeler Yuta, Anthony Bennett, Ace Austin. All I can say is fantastic match. All 3 talents should be proud of themselves, and they have nowhere else to go but up. And in your main event of the evening, the Rogue, Brandon Kirk defeats the Bulldozer Matt Tremont in a Tangled Web match. One of the most violent matches I've seen in recent memory. The Bulldozer taking 2 hellacious bumps off of scaffolding, where he hits the Rogue, Brandon Kirk, with a side Russian leg sweep through 3 stacked barbed wire boards. They literally had to be pulled off of each other. They were stuck together through the barbs. And then another insane bump that Matt took, where he took a fireball to the face on top of a scaffold, which was about 15 feet in the air, and was chucked off of it through a pane of glass and onto a giant barbed wire board that did Matt in so that the rogue Brandon Kirk could pick up the pinfall victory. It was a fun match, just one of the more ultra-violent matches I've seen in recent history. And at the end, Matt Trema says some few words for Brandon Kirk, that he is the new flag bearer of CZW to bleed black and yellow with the ultra-violence, and to never stray away from that, and to always, keep that alive, because he'll be the new generation of ultra-violent competitors. All in all, had a great time, was a fun show. Their next offering for CZW is Best of the Best 17 in April. That should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Some of the competitors that have been announced are Joe Gacy, David Starr, Wheeler Yuta, the Bro, Matt Riddle. I think Trey Miguel has been announced as well. Now that I think about it, it's a completely stacked lineup. If you're in Voorhees, New Jersey, and coming up, I think it's April 14th, I would definitely go check this out. It's going to be one of the highlight shows of the year. Best of the Best never seems to disappoint. They always bring in top-notch talent for that. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here for today. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Don't forget to check out the social media, facebook.com/American Sports Connection, or on Twitter at ASC Pod. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a minute. Check those out, and I will see you next time. Have a good day, everybody.